This is our second episode. Okay, so for some people, this is their first episode, their first time listening. Okay, we have a guest today on the podcast, Kristalina. Okay,
Hi.
so this is Kristalina. Yes, so she's a teacher, right?
Yes.
And I wanted to get the perspective of somebody who's a teacher going through coronavirus because it's very different than what I'm going through, very different than what Hunter's going through.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I know somebody who's actually affected by this differently than me, so I wanted to talk to you. So
Whole different experience.
okay,
Yeah.
what's different about it?
A lot of things. I would say, first and foremost, teaching is very different. We're not in a classroom anymore. We can't even enter school buildings. Everything is done remotely. So they're calling it remote learning. At home, we basically have our classroom in here. For me specifically, I go there, I have my laptop, I put chart paper in, it's like my chalkboard, and I teach from a computer. A lot of schools are using Google Classroom, so am I, and on Google Classroom, it's essentially, you have a webcam, so you're able to teach ELA, math, social studies, science, all the subjects, and yeah, you just have all the students use their parents' phones, use their laptops, they get on, they watch me read, we write together, we, answer chart questions, things like that. And then I put classwork up there, so I put their daily assignments, essentially the same way I would in a classroom, just all online. It's been very hard. I would say it's been very hard for the parents.
Yeah. So okay, why do you say that?
It's hard for the parents because I have half of my class right now, they're not tech savvy at all. Like,
what age do you teach?
First grade.
Okay, so
Yeah,
so
these are babies.
Who's doing because I have a lot of questions about this. Cause I think that this is kind of crazy. So how long are the kids in class? Like whatever the Zoom or Google in your situation, how long are they in class for?
Well, essentially the way my principal wants to do it is she wants it to emulate exact classroom. So she wants it to be 45 minutes. It's very hard because I don't even have all of my kids in the Google Classroom. Right now I have about 15. In a classroom I have 25 kids every day. So right now my lessons have been about 30 minutes.
So different teachers for each kid. 'Cause I know when I was in school, certain schools have like one teacher teach all day, and other people have like you come to this class, then you go to that class. So guys have.
I teach all day. It's
So
me.
it's
all
only 45
subjects.
minutes
For one period for ELA, and then another 45 for math, then another 45 for social studies.
So what's the entire time that you're on Google?
Webcam?
Yeah.
So basically every day I'm teaching 4 periods. 2 ELA in the morning, 8:30, 9:30, and then I do 10:30 math, and then I do a 1 p.m. social studies/science.
And this is the same kids in
Same
each class?
kids, yes.
Right, that's crazy. I feel like how do kids how old is first grade?
6, 7.
And they're able to stay in front of that camera?
Yeah, for me specifically, I like to give myself credit. I think I'm a good teacher.
Okay.
So I try and keep them engaged. Like today we went on like a dinosaur safari and we read
How does that work?
Like a book. It's a book. And
okay, so you read the book and kind of make picture. How does that happen? I don't understand that. Do you know?
No, that's okay. So the book is called Dinosaur Safari. This is just an example today. And a lot of the books I'm using to teach them online are ebooks. So what I'm able to do on Google Classroom that I enjoy is I can share my screen and they can see my whole computer screen. So I pop up the ebook and they're going through the Safari just watching on their computer, on their screen.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like read to them that way. We answer a couple of questions and I try to keep it, as engaging as possible because I know it could be tiring. They're like moving around.
Yeah.
It gets loud. It's very hard. Like, it's unbelievable to me. I actually had another teacher tell me, oh my God, I might have to call ACS. Like, parents are screaming, fighting in the background.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what if they go to the back? Like, what happens that
Yeah.
like outside of them, in front of the TV, they're not in front of the TV, in front of the computer. They're not in a classroom, so there's still life going on.
Exactly. It's very hard. For me specifically, it wasn't anything with parents. It was more like babies crying in the back. I've had to like mute them. They couldn't talk because they talk. It interrupts the lesson for the rest of the kids and it's not their fault. And I have to remind the kids, it's not your fault, but let's do our best to, be quiet.
Can
this
you
is
discipline them? Like, how does that work? If they
No discipline. I mean, I would tell them the most I've done so far, this is my second week teaching virtually. The most I've done is I've told them, listen, guys, if you can't be quiet, I have to take you off the call and, you have to get a 0. Is that what you want? No. And, it's not their fault. Again, I have to reiterate, it's not your fault.
It's not even that. I don't think that it's their fault. I'm thinking more, like you said, it's their kids. And
Right.
expect them to sit in front of a computer when there's no discipline because they can do whatever they want. If they get up and go to the bathroom, they can just play on the
they've
iPad.
done that to me. They're actually like, I'm going to use the bathroom. And they'll leave the camera and I'll see the background. Like, kids in the background, everything.
So I'm like, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
So do you think this could be effective going forward? Like, do you think is there a benefit to this?
I don't see any benefits for the kids, no. I don't. I actually miss my classroom a lot. It's very difficult. I don't have all my kids. So I have kids, parents I have not spoken to.
Yeah.
That worries me.
You have kids you haven't spoken to? Or?
Yes. Like since the last day of school, I haven't heard from them. I don't know what they're doing. Don't know where they are. Like, I don't know. They're off the radar. And because we're not in a classroom, because there's no office, no admin, we're admin too.
Yeah.
I have to take the job of doing attendance, making sure this, making sure that. So I now have a greater role.
Yeah.
And moving forward, do I think this is going to be the rest of the year? Yes, I do. And
so how long is a year? Like, when does it end for
August.
first grade?
Well, not August. No, sorry. June. Summer school is supposed to end August. I don't even know how that's going to happen. But June 24th or 26th.
That's crazy. I still can't process how they have kids in a class for 5 hours. So it's from what time to what time? From 8 to 3?
For me, charter school is much longer. So we actually come in the kids come in for breakfast ideally at 7:30 and we end at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to. So you teach 5 hours of class?
So in the classroom, I'm teaching from literally 7:45 to 3:50.
In the classroom?
In the classroom.
But online, what are you doing?
Online, I teach much less.
Okay.
I do 4 virtual lessons, but I mean, I'm doing this every day, which is still a lot. I know schools that are doing maybe 3 lessons a whole week, and they're giving assignments. They're making it more lenient for kids, which I understand. But for first graders to be on the computer or on a screen 4 times a day, every day is very hard. Parents tell me I can't do it. I have to go to work. I don't have a working computer.
Yeah, I've heard that before too, with people like everybody doesn't have computers to just use. And
Exactly.
Go on.
And
or
then
they have one.
Right. And then to use a parent's phone, their parents are out working. They're, they can't. And then,
So, okay, I got 2 more questions about this part. Mm-hmm. So you said the parents are out working, right? Are the kids home by themselves now?
That's the big question. It's funny because I was actually on Google Classroom and I asked one of the students, can I talk to your mom? My mom's not here.
It's a first grader.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so who else is there? My brother. Her brother's in 3rd grade. So it's a lot of that, but yeah, I mean, you do what you can. It's a tough job, but you try.
So what happens with tests? Like, and between tests and graduating, how does it, I don't know if you graduate from first grade, but how do you go to the next grade? Is there like a system of, you failed this test? Do they have that for first graders? Like, do you know about that?
Every school is different. I think overall, all New York City schools, they see based off of their level how they're doing in class. Specifically from my school, we give mock assessments. So it's kind of my school's a little bit more rigorous. So every month we test the kids on every subject, so we can see where they are level wise to make sure that they know, that they're up to date with everything. With online virtual teaching, that obviously can't happen. So at the end of this, I think we're gonna have no choice but to push them on.
Graduate everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think there are kids that you have that you think should not graduate?
Yes. But I can't. It's gonna be much harder for me now to have them be held back because of this whole situation.
Yeah. Cause I'm just trying to think like now what's gonna happen is they're gonna be put in. It's first grade, so I feel like at that level of first grade, there's not much difference between a first and second grader, so it doesn't really affect them as much. Cause I don't know what you learn in second grade, but to push a kid forward, I would assume that there's some type of ramification with the child not knowing certain things.
Of course.
And that how is that going to affect them in the second grade? Do you think they have to be left back or held do it again?
Yeah, it's gonna affect them in a mostly bad way because right now I have kids in my class who are not even on a first grade level. I have kids in my class who cannot write yet.
Okay.
So at this point, those kids that I know that cannot write, that are going to be pushed on, will more than likely be held back in second grade just because now they're 2 grade levels behind.
How old is first grade? Like 7?
6, 7, yeah.
Sheesh. Oh, have mercy.
And even though, like I said, first and second grade seem to be close, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, it really isn't. The curriculum at this rate, they're making them harder. Right now in my school specifically, we prep them early to take state exams. They start taking state exams in third grade.
Okay.
So even though second grade's close to first, second grade's also close to third grade, which is a testing grade. So, you have a kid in second grade who can't write. What you going to do? Hold him.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I think all of this is kind of crazy. So, this is unrelated specifically to being a teacher, but as far as the coronavirus, do you think it's as a serious... Oh, before I even get to that part. So I saw earlier you got a text, right? Or email, right? Now, I didn't want to find out what the email was yet because I want to have on the podcast my first expression, Hunter's first hearing it, what happened on the email. So, what was on the email that you saw?
So my principal basically emailed us. I thought she initially said that we're going to teach the whole year, but she said that she basically eliminated spring break, so nobody has spring break, and we have to continue teaching during our vacation. And this is our only vacation for the year. And we basically have to cancel our vacation to teach remotely online.
How did they mandate that? Is that legal?
She said, her email said the New York State Department stated that we must teach during spring break. She sent her apologies, and that was that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, nobody's traveling nowhere.
Tomorrow, and we'll discuss.
I feel like you're gonna ask about reimbursement. If you were going somewhere, did they have to reimburse you for that?
I doubt it. She sent her apologies, so I'm assuming no. Thank God I didn't book a flight because I did. I wanted to. So, and I know tons of people. Obviously, spring break, everyone goes somewhere.
Yeah. And so wait, you guys only have one vacation from now until December, or now for the end of it?
That's it. Spring break is the last break, and then you have the rest of the year. Yeah.
Wait, so and you don't have winter or nothing like that? Winter
was
after spring break.
Yeah. I'm saying going into next year, like December 2020. Does that count as like when she says okay? Because I heard for the rest of the year. The rest of the year to me is the whole year, not the school year.
Oh no, just the school year.
Okay.
Yeah, till like June. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. You think it's gonna last that long?
Yeah. I think they're taking a lot of precautions and they're playing it safe. And I think the reason why they're telling us to teach during spring break is because if we do go back to school, they can't give us that time back. Normally for when schools have snow days or whatever, and we had to make up that extra day in school. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember doing it when I was younger a little bit.
Yeah, so because of that, they know that that's probably what's going to happen with us. So they're telling us to teach during spring break because they won't have other time to basically give us back, if that makes sense.
Did they pay extra? Did they talk about that?
No, of course not.
Just regular?
Oh, please. They ain't paying us.
Oh, my God. So this is actually going to ask you something. Because I feel like I said in the beginning of the podcast, all of our lives are different from this, right? So you work from home, so you're not able to go in school. Yeah. Your work is kind of stopped from this. Yeah. I don't think it's dangerous, but I have to go outside in this climate and work, right? So this is a funny thing that happened to me yesterday, right? So I'm riding my bike, right? And I'm like on 80-something street, right? And I hear clapping and everybody's cheering and screaming and I hear bells going and whistles. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm looking around. I don't see anybody. It sounds like a parade. I'm looking around to see, okay, there's no parade going on. There's nobody outside on the streets. Where's this coming from? And I can't find it. I'm trying to get out of the way, get onto the sidewalk thinking, okay, maybe something is coming that I don't see because maybe somebody else can see it. So I'm looking around. Nothing happens. 2 minutes go by. I'm like, there's nothing going on, right? So that was on today's what, Tuesday?
Yeah.
That was on Sunday that happened, right? So it happened again on Monday. So I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, what is going on? So I talked to some guy. I was talking to some guy who played basketball with, and he was confused too. So when he asked out loud, a lady walked by, and she was like, "Oh, everybody is clapping for you guys." And I'm like, what? She was like, "Yeah, all of the people that are outside working right now, yeah, they're clapping, right?" Mm-hmm. So I find it to be hilarious, right? Because I think that is... Now, I'm not really the type of person that's into the whole elitist thing, but I think you can't get more elitist than being up in your, 25-story building and clapping for everybody that's getting killed by this coronavirus, right? Yeah. So and it happened at the same time every single day. They're outside, they're out the window. That's why I couldn't see them, because they're in their balconies clapping as loud as they can, blowing whistles, doing like the horn and shit, and it sounds like there's a parade going on. So I'm just like, I thought that was crazy.
So you didn't feel good?
I think it's dumb. Because I'm like... You clapping me for what? Like that's not helping me.
I would feel away. I would be like, why don't you just pay me?
That's
give me money,
right,
so I don't have to go out.
Like,
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to do when you clapping? What if I die? I'm like, yeah, I'm glad they clapped for me before I died. So that's kind of how I looked at it. I thought that was kind of silly. I'm just like,
yeah,
that whole situation is crazy. So I wanted to ask you, how is coronavirus affecting you, and what is your? Because last week we talked on the podcast, right? And you said that it's going to last 2 weeks. I don't know if you heard that Donald Trump said April 30th. Is at least that's the, what is it, stay at home, or what is he called? That's the
sheltering, whatever they call it.
Sheltering home. Right.
Yeah.
So he said to April 30th. So how are you affected by this personally from the coronavirus?
Horrendous, horrible.
Yeah.
I'm in survival mode. My brain right now.
Okay. What does that mean? What's survival mode for you?
Just like stopped every kind of. So I work at stores.
Okay.
Stores can't be open.
Okay.
I do photography. People don't want to go outside to take photos.
That's very true.
I do creative direction for artists in Louisiana. Can't fly to Louisiana. So kind of.
You can't fly to Louisiana? I thought you could.
The thing is, it's funny. My aunt called me this morning, and she was like, "Yeah, you can't fly. You have to give them a reason." So I don't really know yet. Yeah. That's like the last resort. Yeah. But even so, like even the people that pay me, their money is stopped as well. So there's no money being spent around. So it's a very interesting predicament. But what it is it's forcing me to like find extra avenues of income from like myself. So like I'm working on a book from St. Thomas. Okay. Just restructuring like green tea.
And what is that?
Man, just kind of setting it up to be more to monetize it, I guess.
Like what? Like what in terms of like how do you want to monetize it?
So I'm working on a few capsule collections, like designing a few products.
Here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Trying to figure this out. So I want this to be as natural as possible for us.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, I don't know how to like. I'm trying to figure out how to talk naturally with a mic here, right? Because I'm asking questions, and I'm like, I have to keep asking more questions. Because I'm like, I want it to be. Cause I'm curious. I'm actually curious
about how.
Yeah, because I'm like, I know that you're not going to work, so I'm like, I want to know what the difference is.
But this is the thing, right? I'm not gonna panic. I'm fucking in front of a camera. Like I'm panicking already outside of the camera. So like while I'm here, I'm gonna try and be composed and be as positive and be as structured. Like shit is fucked up right now.
So what you so you're saying you don't want to panic on camera? Perfectly fine. What do you consider? Okay, how can I phrase this? What do you think the worst thing about this is in terms of not getting paid? Like in terms of you think it's the amount of time you won't get paid until you think it's not getting paid
just
now?
How it like slowed up everything. I think before the coronavirus, I had just figured out how to travel, how to make money off of just being me.
Yeah.
And then the situation with my grandmother happened, so I had to leave. She fell. She fell.
This is after you left?
This is before.
That's why you went there?
Yeah, she fell. She had to get stitches in her head, so I was like, and they were kind of worried she was gonna pass.
Yeah.
So like, life stopped. Came off a plane, had to go straight there, and then the coronavirus happened. So when I came back, everything just kind of froze. So I'm still like. I still don't really know what's going on, bro. That's why, like, last week I'm like, oh, it's going to be done in 2 weeks. Because in my head, I'm like, this shit has to be done in 2 weeks. But, yeah, this shit's just... Yeah, because I don't believe this shit is that bad.
I agree.
There's a 98% survival rate.
It's actually funny because I was actually looking at that. And I saw it. So I saw South Korea said it's 90% 98%. It was a 0.04. No, was it 0.04 or 0.4% people die? So that's like 95, 96 are not dying. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Look, there's an election coming up soon,
okay.
Right? I think someone even talked about how the DMV area, they're closed until like June 10th, something like that. But there's like a Republican election on like on the 9th.
Yeah.
So I saw someone that was along the lines of like, oh, what are the odds that this Democratic senator governor is the one that's going to say, hey, let's postpone this until the 10th when there's something on the 9th. So like there's so many different angles being like going on. It's like I try not to even put too much thought on it. I'm just more like, when does this end?
So last week you said you thought it was gonna end in 2 weeks. Do you have what do you think is gonna happen now going forward? Like what do you think is gonna?
I still think it's gonna end like by the end of April.
Okay.
I hope it's gonna end by the end of April. Cause like this is not serious, and the people up top know it's not serious.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking game, so it's like.
Who do you think is gaining from it? The game, like why do you?
Niggas with money. I think it fucking niggas with money.
Yeah.
That's the ones who are gaining from it. I was speaking to Sheena, my little bro's mom, and she was just telling me how she lost like thousands in the stock market.
Yeah.
But then you go to some people and they're like, man, airlines about to go up. Bruh. A bunch of other shit's about to go up. So it's like
I'm about to try and buy all. I'm looking at right now American Airlines. I'm looking at Delta, and I'm looking at I think it's United Airlines. Because I'm like, I've been getting the stocks lately, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen that they normally trade at less. Like let's say for I think it's United Airlines, American Airlines normally trades at like. I want to say $40. This is how we're trading. I don't remember the exact number. It went down to $10, right? So I'm like, I already know, that's a lot of money they lost. I'm like, I already know it's going to go back up. I don't know to what number it's going to go back up, but I know it's going to go back up to somewhere close to what it was trading before. Yeah. So I'm like, if you could get in now,
that's a $30 price.
That's you could double your money.
Triple it. You
triple it easily. And then last week we had a stimulus package that went out. The stocks went back up. They went up. Not a lot, but it went up. So if obviously I don't think anybody knew because it went back down. But if you knew and you got out, then you could have with was it Delta? I think it was Delta or American went up 70% in that 1 week.
Man, these niggas that know what's going on, man. I know these niggas that know what's going on. It's the stimulus package. I think it's easier to like the interest rates are lower now. So if you want to buy land or a house, this is like the perfect time.
I wish I had money for that.
So it's just
I wish.
Oh, so rent. Are you guys gonna not pay rent?
I did.
Okay.
I was holding back.
Yeah.
But on a more personal note, I didn't want something to come out my account and then my rent is like gone. So I was like, you know what, pay it.
Because I was thinking, you said you did or you didn't pay it?
I did.
Yeah. Cause I'm like,
right? Isn't that what I was saying? I thought I didn't want to either because I feel like they're gonna do a rent freeze. That's
what I'm trying to figure out. Because I'm like, that for them to do a rent freeze, obviously what I think would happen is everybody would be like, I'm not paying my fucking rent. Fuck that shit. Yeah. Right? And I feel like that will make the numbers go higher by saying it, as opposed to just letting people who don't pay their rent not pay their rent, and then the numbers will be lower. So when they do bail everybody out, it's like, okay, everybody in the country did not pay their rent. It was just 30% of the people.
The thing is like, we're under the impression that these niggas know what they're doing.
Who's they?
The politicians, the people making these rules. Yeah. What if they don't know what they're doing? What if it's day by day? And that's why there hasn't been a rent freeze.
100%.
You got Donald Trump saying, hey, we're going to quarantine New York. And then you got Cuomo saying, that's not even fucking possible. I ain't speak to that nigga. So it's like...
Well, Cuomo saying that you
he was like, it's because I think Donald Trump was saying along the lines that they're going to have to like shut down New York. And Cuomo was saying that, actually, I was talking to someone about this the other day, so I have the message.
So you think, would you next month not pay it? Or you think you haven't thought about it yet?
I think I'm going to make the smarter decision to take out the cash and hold it aside. Okay. And then, but because I didn't, I was kind of like, whatever.
Because I'm like, the thing that I did see that as far as right now that I know is in effect is I keep forgetting how to say this word. I want to say rent moratorium. Mm-hmm. Something like that, right? Eviction moratorium, my bad, not rent. So they can't evict you during this time.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm figuring what they're going to do is, all right, after 3 months, now you're going to get the letters about eviction. And then if you pay it, you'll probably be fine. Yeah. But I personally, like, one of the arguments is how am I going to pay my rent if I was not working?
Yeah.
So that's the only thing they're going to be like, okay, well, a lot of people weren't working, they're not going to pay their rent, and we'll bail them out. People that were working, how do we figure that out? So I'm trying to think, like, okay, how are they going to go about doing that?
They even said that they're willing to give like a $1,200 payout, but in New York, that's nothing.
Yeah,
that's like food.
Yeah, that's right. That's not going to do that. I don't know
and
how
that's
to figure
food
that
for
out.
me, and I'm getting paid salary, so that's different. I'm working, I get paid, and I know that $1,200 for me would go easily. So imagine someone who doesn't have that luxury.
Yeah.
And also I did read that I think today they're proposing a rent freeze, and I think they're going to either approve or disapprove it today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I got like New York Times email to me. But yes.
Okay, this is my face is for the producer to look this up. That's the look this up face. That's the look this up face. Find the update on that's the face for that. But yes, what text you
I think this thing. Trump was talking about a New York quarantine. Mm-hmm. Cuomo said, I didn't speak to him. I don't even know how that can be legally enforceable. So, like I said,
he said legally. I feel you could definitely legally
enforce it. When did he say that?
When did he say this? This was. When did I send this?
Yeah. So my theory still on this is that same thing I said last week on the podcast. The pandemonium about the coronavirus is worse than the actual virus. Because everybody, we talked about before, everybody is deciding, I'm not going to go outside. We've seen, I'm going to come back to that part. I'm not going to go outside. We can't go to work, all other stuff. And that's slowing the economy down, whatever the case might be. But when it comes to the actual virus, it's not that many people are actually getting killed from it. So I'm like, I think that's one of the solutions they have to come up with is how can we stop the pandemonium from people? And then you said Donald Trump. Who said it earlier about what was it?
It'd be legally enforceable?
No. You said something along the lines of the doctors, that somebody's gonna come out and be like, it's not that bad because the majority of the population has to decide to come together as a collective and say we're gonna go outside and go to work.
Man, I don't even know if I was thinking about that too. But I think it has to be bigger than the doctors. It's like yesterday. Or was it the day before, the World Health Organization, they made a post about like how it's not airborne, right? Yeah, you go outside, but I still wearing a fucking mask.
Yeah. I actually have a theory on that. What happened?
No, I was gonna say the masks are different. Mask isn't because of you're preventing.
How does your mask help?
Well, it prevents the spread of germs because you can get sick from it or any illness if it goes through your mouth, nose, eyes, pores, things like that. So the mask lowers that, but right.
This shit been there for the past 6-7 months. Niggas ain't wearing masks 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's like at this point, I feel like niggas wearing it for cool points. I'm gonna be honest. I had a friend, and he was telling me he was wearing a ski mask. I'm like, bro, why you wearing a ski mask? She's like, come clean, bro, just to look cool. I can do it. This is the moment I can do it. And I'm like, I appreciate that. Bro, I seen people wearing fucking masks in their car, bro.
That's what I want to say.
I seen people wearing masks in their car.
That
bro.
don't make no sense. I'm like, people are doing I see, like, I wouldn't bring that up so
mask,
much.
Cheetah print mask.
I've seen masks. I'm like, who makes these? Where do you get a mask like this from? Where it has all the designs on it? Got Gucci. Where do you get these masks from? And I'm like, people. I did not know that so many people were this dumb. Like I was like, wow. I knew those people that were not very smart, but I didn't know it was on this scale.
I mean, if you're in an Uber, then yeah, I'd wear a mask if I had it.
You a regular. You driving home from where you're not going to work.
That's different. Yeah.
I've seen people in cars, mind you. I can understand. Like I've seen people with 2 people in the car, right? Mm-hmm. There's one guy in the car by himself, not an Uber driver, no taxi place, with the mask on and gloves. And I'm like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Like I don't understand what the purpose of having a mask on in the car. But everybody, like I said, people are not very smart. Bruh, what the fuck is that? Where do you even get this from? Hold on, where's it? I gotta put it.
Costumeshop.com.
Here you go.
But I don't even think it's like, I don't even think it's people. I think people want to belong. I think people want to like be a part of something. So I feel like a lot of it is like people wanting to be a part of this epidemic. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get the mask too. 100%. I'm gonna get the gloves too. So then now it becomes a part of like. Now you're engaging with it. Now it becomes a community thing, and I think that's like one of the bigger points of it. And I think that's what it is. Like I said, I've seen someone hand sanitize gloves too.
Yeah.
That's the wildest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think some other crazy stuff I've seen when I've been in the city.
Because it said nigga put on gloves to take his clothes out the laundry.
Bro, I seen this lady. There's a lady. I was in a bank waiting for an order, right? A lady came in the bank. First of all, this was the funniest thing. She came in the bank and didn't know how to open the door because she felt like you ever like something is dirty, you don't want to touch it, so she's kind of like she's doing all of this, right? Then she takes some tissue out of her bag. She's wearing gloves. Grabs the door like this, right? Opens the door. I'm like, all right.
I mean, if you're wearing gloves, just open the door.
Right? So I go, okay. Maybe she wants to keep the gloves clean. That's what I'm thinking. In my head, I'm thinking you want to keep the gloves clean. Right? So she proceeds to walk into Chase and press all the buttons on the ATM machine with the gloves on. The same gloves that she trying to protect from being dirty on the door. So I'm like, she can't be serious. I'm like, people can't be this retarded. I'm like, I really had no idea that this many people were this dumb. And every time I go outside, I see more and more stuff. People like that guy wearing the mask. I see people wearing like, I don't know what to call them. What do you call the people that, not cloud chasers, back in the day when you would wear all of the...
zoot suits?
No, like you'd wear like Supreme shirt, Supreme hoodie.
Oh, that you consider hype beast?
Yeah, I've seen hype beasts with like I've seen them with the hype beast clothes and then have like a mask on. They have like the Balenciaga, I don't know, maybe Yeezy or some shit with his girl. They got the big ass jackets opened up and they's there with the mask on chilling. Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, come on
now. You think
now.
downtown is a place for photography right now? Street photography would be like a place to go and just...
Oh yeah, 100%. You could definitely get some cool shots out there. I have some videos of like Times Square being empty.
I went to Times Square last week.
Yeah.
Thursday. And it was actually very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's almost nobody outside at all.
Actually very interesting. I went off to Times Square, went to like Port Authority, went to like 9th Ave, then walked past Port Authority to Grand Central. It was very interesting just seeing like areas that are so populated.
Yeah.
Just be completely desolate.
Have you been out downtown at all since this?
I mean, with Hunter, I think, but no, not by myself.
Not past 96. So y'all only went to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I don't think she went past 96.
Yeah, because it's a ghost town. I be riding for blocks, especially when I noticed I'll be on Broadway and there's nobody 5 blocks ahead of me, 5 blocks behind me. I'm on Times Square. There's no cars for avenues, like not block avenue, like 7th to 8th Avenue, nobody. 6th to 5th Avenue, nobody. I'm like, this is getting crazy.
Also, too, it's like this is just more of like whether we like it or not. This is like the future. Mm-hmm. Like being taught virtually, like what you're doing now. Like grocery stores, food, like delivery stuff, just booming. Like whether we like it or not, this is how we're gonna be living in the next like 5-10 years.
You think so? What do you think? How do you think? What's the benefit of it? Because I don't see how this benefits. I mean, this is guy talking about the guy that the lizard guy. He thinks that the plan is to have us all be in the house and the government controls us from that.
Yeah, I don't think that. I just think more of like a reset because I feel like it's like this is just how it's like gonna be. We're seeing how a lot of jobs don't really need to exist. I think let's say this lasts for like a month or two. We're going to really see what matters and what doesn't matter from a business aspect. So I think moving forward, it allows even business owners to reset. Because if you was doing retail way before and you see this now you have to hop on e-commerce. Like before, when I was trying to tell stores, like, yo, you got to be online, some stores would be like, nah, we could still do it the old-fashioned way. I think now it's like you now see that you need the internet because there's no other option without technology. So I think that's what this kind of is going to shape.
Yeah, I was listening to this, what was it? Some Korean doctor, right? And he was talking about, first of all, one thing I've also noticed, and I think this is kind of what the propaganda they talk about is supposed to be for, is that they say more totalitarian countries and dictator type countries do better in situations like this because they can tell everybody to get inside the house or we're going to kill you. Like, everybody stay inside, we're going to fumigate this and clean that or whatever. So he was saying that in South Korea, people that flew in, they kind of got their corona under control. The only problem is people that are still coming in to the country. So now when they come in, they say as soon as you come in, you get tested immediately. As soon as you come through the gate, we're testing you. If you have it, and before you even leave to that area, they put you in a room for a day before you get your test. And then if you have it, right, this is where I know America does not go for this at all. If you do have it, then it's like, okay, stay in your house. Then they want you to download the app. The app then lets them know where you're going and who you come in contact with. So, right, nobody here wants to do that. But it's like, again, I don't think it's that bad to begin with.
For the 1,000 deaths out of the 327
Wait, say it again?
million
I didn't
people.
hear what you said.
It's like, even as I'm listening to what these other countries do, I'm like, it would just be, why would they do that? It still hasn't, like, we've been using a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, now the cases for over 30,000, they're still fucking 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
In a country that has 327 million.
Yeah, do you
so
know
you
what the
minus
number is
1,000.
now?
Yeah, how much is the deaths now? And can we subtract that from the population? And then actually,
Yeah.
like,
What's the percentage on that? Because I feel like I had it written down somewhere, and I just think,
bro,
yeah.
there's people, there's actually, like, kids are being involved. There's kids.
I mean, like the
There are kids
Yeah.
who are getting fucked over. There's people with mental health issues who are stuck inside their house. Like, people don't think about it from that point of view, and that's the most frustrating part of it.
So do you think that, sorry to interrupt you.
No.
Do you think that that there are more deaths now, or is it equal to the regular flu? Because people die of regular flu. Is it more?
This is what I think the difference is between the flu and I haven't done that much research on that particular thing. I think the difference is people are testing for this. People don't test for the flu. You get a flu and you go, yeah, I think I had the flu last week, and then you go, I get over it.
Get orange juice and
Yeah, right, and you people be cool. But I think now that they're going, I want to test for it. You're gonna find it more because you're looking for it. Yeah. But people who are same thing with people who already have gotten it and they don't have no symptoms. They would not even know Corona exists if they were going through their regular life. They was Idris Elba. He got it. He's fine. So it's like a lot of people are getting like that. A lot of 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds catch it and they go, all right, I'm good. Same thing. I'm pretty sure if an older person caught it, the regular flu, they would be sick. And if we tested for the regular flu, I feel like the numbers would be ridiculously high. So that's what I think. That's what I think would end up happening.
Right.
So now I had a solution for this. This is my solution. I think, right? On both of your opinions on the solution. So I think we should take all the old people, right, and put them over here, right? Put them in. I was thinking of an Airbnb/hotel, right? And the reason I came up with the solution is if they're the ones that's dying, they're the ones that need to be quarantined, not the people that are actually not dying from it. Because for me to get it and I'm healthy, nothing happens. I'm
saying
fine.
young people are dying now too.
Right, and they even said babies too.
So okay, right. So here's the thing. I saw
they are saying young people are
okay. How young?
Nah, they're just saying it's not. They thought it was age restrictive, and they're saying it's not as age restrictive as they thought it was.
But this is the thing. With the age restriction, right? I don't know what age you're talking about. Number one, and then number two, are these people who are younger? Are they healthy or they have underlying respiratory?
Anyone who's dying is healthy.
Because I think that's what differentiates the age and just tackles the age thing down. Because it's not really about. I thought at first it was older people dying, but it's really based on your immune system. Like I had asthma as a kid, and I'm not as worried about this. You know, like at first I didn't want to go outside. But now that I've been outside, I see it's not as bad. But what worries me is that my asthma suddenly gets triggered. I get like heart palpitations from anxiety. Like my mind just races, like what Hunter said with the anxiety. That's what's causing a lot of it too. But I feel like it's really based off of however your immune system is. Because you can have diabetes, anyone. I have a friend who's like 24. He has diabetes. He has not left his apartment. He's scared. And yeah, it's really attacking those who have a weakened immune system.
He hasn't left the apartment?
Yeah.
So yeah, I know
he has diabetes. He's like one of the first, like old people have diabetes, and he does. He's younger, so he will definitely. He's at risk, like older people.
Did you? I haven't looked. I've seen that before about the diabetes thing. I don't know how it affects. Do you know how it affects people with corona at all?
Not really, to be honest. But I know.
Because I heard that, but I'm like, I don't see the correlation because so Hadassah, right? I was talking to Hadassah like 3 days ago, right? And I had tweeted something about the coronavirus probably being some bullshit, and she was like,
"Take it serious for these dogs."
Something like that, right? So then he responds. I called her, and I'm like, "What do you think about the coronavirus? Like, what's your opinion on it?" She goes, "Oh, I had pneumonia when I was younger," and she goes, "I know this guy right now who one of her friends is battling. He's on a respirator, and what is it? What's the ICU intensive? Yeah, he's in that, right? This is when I called him on Friday." And he was like, yeah, he already has lupus before that, right? So I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, lupus is an autoimmune situation, and you need an immune system for this, right? So he texted me the next day and told me that he died, right? And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm like, but at the end of the day, I look at it as he had lupus. So I can't put him in the healthy category. He was 24. So she went, and it's what I think people are doing. When she told me that, she tried to not really say that part of it because she was like, oh, she was trying to pretty much single out that he doesn't have lupus. I'll leave it out so that I can look at him as a younger person who is also healthy. But that's not the case. So I'm like, people who are sick are the ones who are likely to die. So when I hear somebody say that it's healthy people or younger people, I'm like, what kind of young person? Because there's a lot of people who have it who.
I think I mean, the craziest part is like it's just gonna, if you have a weak immune system, it's gonna weaken your immune system. You'll die. It's like it's not even an age thing. It's just like if you have a weak immune system, like a flu. Or
like any other virus or probably mostly a virus could do that. And that's why I'm just like, I think that we've really blown it out of control, out of proportion, but I don't know why. Like, that's what I don't understand. I think my main reason why is two things. I have my conspiracy theory, which is the whites are getting scared. This is what happens when the whites get scared. When the whites get scared, the whole world stops, right? And then my other theory is that people are just really dumb. And that's like the people in charge just are dumb. And they're like, I don't know what it is. Everybody's scared. And that trickles down. They go to tell their friend who owns CBS and CNN, yo, I heard about this disease over here. And now, we like, oh my God, my friend doctor told me this. And now everybody starts doing that. And I think that's what ends up trickling down. Because everybody that really knows about this comes from watching TV. And
it really shows how this country operates during a crisis. Yeah. Because there's so much misinformation. There's so much chaos. There's so much dysfunction throughout every institution. Like, you're seeing every institution crumble little by little. And nobody knows what to do because we're all dealing with it equally. No matter how much money you have, no matter anything. Everyone's dealing with it. You're seeing celebrities get corona. Some are getting healed. Some are dying. It's like... everyone is pretty much scrambling, I feel.
Except for grocery stores. They're making a lot of money. I would love to have a grocery store. I would love to have a laundromat.
A lot of money.
Right now, storage places are doing well.
I didn't even think about that. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I was helping Gary move our access storage guy, how's everything? He's like, yeah, business is booming right now.
I didn't think about that.
I think it's funny, on the comical side, I read that the NBA is going to do virtual 2K tournaments to appease the fans.
You watching?
Of course not. Of course not. And I really hope this thing is done by the end of April.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to teach on a computer anymore.
So you can't stop teaching, right?
So to answer earlier questions, with diabetes, sugar. When you have high blood sugar, it releases destructive molecules that interferes with your body's infection control defenses. So it interferes with your immune system.
And diabetes is having high blood sugar?
It's having enough insulin to cut down the blood sugar.
And say one more time, what does it do?
So it releases destructive molecules that messes with your immune system. So if you have high blood sugar, your body is basically fighting the excess blood sugar or whatever, instead of fighting the diseases that it should fight.
Okay.
And then there's 854,000 cases, 42,000 deaths, and 176,000 recovered from the coronavirus.
Wait, that's worldwide?
That's worldwide.
So is it in the U.S.? Like, how much deaths are in the USA?
I think right now we are 42.
So, unless she gets that. So, he has a girlfriend.
Oh, he does?
Did I tell you this? Yeah.
Naveen?
Yes.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
So, right? I thought about it. I feel like that would be its own problem, right? So, I'm like, we were talking, right? Now, the first girl he had, he said that he's monogamish. When I hear that, I'm like, you're not really trying to be in a relationship. Like, you need to be with her or don't be with her, right? So he's like, nah, I want everybody to be free. I don't want to hold nobody up and tell them whatever, some bullshit, right?
You don't believe in open relationships?
Nah. I think, here's the thing. I don't believe in them because I feel like it's a person not being honest, right? And I think that's what the problem is. It's like it can work if both people are saying, hey, I don't mind you fucking somebody else, and other people, I don't mind you fucking somebody else. but I still feel like they're both lying. Like I feel like it's
They're both lying.
Yeah, because I'm like in a situation because I've tried not open relationships per se, but I've tried even talking to girls who I like, and I'm like, yeah, if you want to have sex with somebody else, by all means go do that, right? But then it becomes like, now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm like, so when I was giving you back shots, like, was he doing it like this? Like, yeah, where y'all going out to?
Do you think that happens because you actually care about, like, because you actually care about the girl? Because if it was, like, let's say it was a girl that you met off rip and you're like, okay, this is going to be open. So you know it's open from the get-go. So you don't even allow yourself to get that kind of attachment to even have those kind of thoughts of...
I think it's both of those. I think both things happen in an open relationship where either one person doesn't care and they're like, fuck whoever you want to fuck. I don't care. I don't like you. And it's like, do you really want to be with that person? One, right? And then the other option is they're one or both of them are saying, okay, you can fuck somebody else and I'm going to act like I don't care. Even though the date actually affected by it. And I think that's that situation where he's kind of like, I felt like he was saying you can have sex with somebody else, and he don't. It's always usually the first line everybody says is, as long as you tell me who you have sex with, right? And
that's the worst thing to do.
Right, and what I told him was, I think you said that so that when she does tell you, you can now change your feelings, and now you can go and act different towards her. You can now be like, oh, you fuck somebody else, all right, and I want to hug you. He's like, nah, I'm good, I'm chilling. And it's like that only came from you finding out she fucked somebody else, or that's where that came from. So I'm like, I don't really believe that. So that's how I feel about open relationships, right? So this new girl he's with, right? She's like, oh, I'm not, what? No, I don't want to do that, right? He's like, all right, cool. Because now he's cool, he's on it. His whole excuse before was he doesn't want to hold, he feels like everybody has this energy that they can share with other people.
Oh, that's what the last girl was.
Yeah, right, exactly. So he felt like, yeah, we got all the energies. He was like, sometimes I want to fuck somebody else. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, yes, your body wants to fuck somebody else. However, your body wants to do a lot of things that it shouldn't do. Like, I don't know if you ever been on top of a roof. You ever thought about jumping off? Like, you ever looked and be like, I wonder what happened if I jumped off. You don't jump off the roof, though. You just go, if I fell off the roof, that would be crazy. That's it. Same thing with the relationship thing. It's like, I want to fuck somebody else. All right, that's it. And you go about your business. So the new girl, like I said, is not playing that. I think she's crazy because some messages I saw, she was like, if he brought up another girl, like even in conversation, she would get mad.
Shout out Eastern European girls, man.
Right?
That's a whole different culture.
I think she's dumb. Right? I think she's dumb. I don't care. I think she's dumb. Right? Now,
yo, this guy is raw.
Here's the thing, right? I'm gonna tell you why I think she's dumb. I'm gonna tell you why I think this, right?
I feel like you said something worse on the way here.
I'm gonna be honest.
So here's the thing.
This nigga be saying this shit I would say on camera.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you why I think she's dumb. And if people agree, they can tell me if they don't agree.
Let me hear this.
Okay, so again, like I said, she's very jealous, right? So, they were dating like Friday, I think it was.
Friday.
Something like that.
Past Friday.
Maybe Thursday, right? So then she texts him and goes, I think that like we should like not see each other until the quarantine is up. Like once it's done, then we can hang out again. But I don't want to break up. But I just want us to just, for the safety of me and my brother who don't have any diseases that I know about, I want us to not hang out with each other. Right? Right? So she goes, I don't want my brother to die because he has something that this probably not gonna say on the podcast, but there's something that he can't catch it for it. Right. So I go, okay, that's dumb, right? So I'm like, because I'm thinking it's possible that somebody could be overly protective or overly cautious, right? That's possible, and I don't fault nobody for being like that, right? I feel like there's a level of being overly cautious and there's a level of being dumb, right? The brother is still going outside and doing whatever he wants to do outside. So how is it now that you're telling that you can't come to the house because he might catch something, right? Calls her and says, yeah, I'm not doing this no more, right? She goes, you know what, you're selfish. Because I care about you, and I feel like you shouldn't be breaking up with me because I want us to be safe. I want me and you to be safe. Now I'm listening to the phone, right? And I'm like, this makes no sense. I'm gonna read the text. I'm gonna find the exact text. Now this is why I said she was dumb for those reasons before. Now I'm gonna read these verbatim.
Maybe she genuinely wants him to be safe though.
That's possible.
I guess.
She goes, it sucks, because we might not see each other for months depending on how this goes. I didn't want our relationship to start this way, but it's out of my control. If you want, we can continue when everything is normal again from where we left it. I don't want to break or anything like that, but I can't expect things to stay the same when we're not seeing each other, right? So then I'm like,
she's an adult though. When I say she's an adult,
she's close to 30.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Damn.
So my thing was, because when people are like this, I like to ask them questions. I like to go, okay, if this is your logic and if you really believe this, then I can ask you a question. You have answers for it. And if I ask you a question you can't answer it, you go, okay, that makes more sense. What you're saying as opposed to what I'm saying. Yeah. So I would say, what does she believe is over? What does over look like? What does that mean? Does that mean when you have a vaccine? Because the vaccine, according to doctors, is not coming out for 18 months. So we ain't seen each other for 18 months, and I'm supposed to still be with you? How does that work?
Yeah.
That don't make any sense. So I'm like, this was kind of dumb. So now they're single. So he had a girlfriend for 2 days.
They broke up?
Yeah. And she called him selfish because she felt like, let me see, where is it? She said, I don't want to break or anything.
Damn.
Honestly, hearing it back, it sounds like that's what she wanted.
That's what me and him are that's he thinks that, right? That's his first thought. I'm like, that's a possibility. I'll go with that. She's not very smart. That's my first opinion. But he thinks that she wants to probably break up. But
I think both.
You think both want to break up?
No. I think she's both dumb and does want to break up.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
she does want to break up, and she's not dumb. She's just using something to break up. So she doesn't believe what she's saying. She's just trying to end the relationship.
True. Either way, it's stupid.
I'm gonna read another quote from this. Sorry, I'm so boring compared to these other chicks that you want to quarantine with. You're not even saying you can go like this for a few weeks because the situation is understandable. But after this lasts long, we better find a solution in seeing each other. She said, I actually quarantine too if I have my own place, so please. And then he was like, coming over to my place. She was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Wow. So that's what she feels about that. So
how is he doing though?
So that was yesterday, right? So we was talking about that. He was like, he really likes her, right? So I was like, it kind of sucks because I'm like, it's his first real girlfriend. That's how I know it's his real girlfriend, right? I asked him because he's relatively small compared to him in terms of size. So I'm like, would it be weird if you like had her on your shoulders? Because he's like 6'4", and then she's probably like 5'2", and she's really skinny. So I'm like, she looks small compared to him, right?
She looks like a straight up baby girl. Wow.
She reminds me of Fatima, but just smaller. Right? So I'm like, if you put her on your shoulders, is that weird? Like, would you like like, how does that look if she's that little on your shoulders, right? He was like, who, my woman? I was like,
excuse me.
I was like, okay.
Right? Like,
I said, okay. Now they're single, so I don't know how long that lasted.
They might get back together.
I would think so if she decided. Then she pulled that line where girls like to do. She was like, oh, you can come over this Thursday. But I feel like if he would have then copped to going over Thursday, she would have then pulled that back and been like, I actually don't want to do that. Like,
but why would she say that after she made a whole spiel about not wanting contact because of the quarantine?
Because he probably gave her some logic, and she was like, you know what, that makes sense. But I know if he would have, on his way over there, she would have been like, I wasn't thinking straight. You shouldn't come over. You just stay home. It's better that way. And she probably would have hung up or some bullshit like that. So that was the last 2 days, right? So then he called me this morning. No, he texted me this morning, and he's like, my grandmother died. And I'm like,
damn.
What? Right? I'm like, what are you talking? I'm like, what do you mean she died? He said, I think. I'm like, what do you mean you think? He was like, yeah, I said I think, but it's more so like I know, but I'm trying to rationalize it to myself. So I'm like, all right, that's kind of crazy. So I asked if it was corona. He said he don't think it was the coronavirus, but he's like, he doesn't know 100%. He's like pretty sure it wasn't because she had some other issues. Yeah. So I'm like, bruh, that shit is crazy. So then, this is my morning, right before I came over here. So breaking up, his grandmother died. I'm on the phone with my mom, right? And Neffy's on the phone, 3-way, right? So Neffy tells me that Miss Connie has the coronavirus, right? She's been tested for it, tested positive, has the coronavirus, right? Going through all the symptoms, right? And my worry about that is that her daughter has an autoimmune disease. I think it's rheumatoid arthritis, where it attacks your tissues or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. It's very painful. So she takes something for that to get rid of your immune system. Yeah. And I'm like, I think that is probably the worst you could do for under any circumstance to get rid of your immune system. It's literally the thing that protects you. Yeah. So I'm like, if she catches it, and that's her daughter. I'm like, she could possibly die. And I'm like, that would suck.
Yeah.
Right? So then my nephew goes, yeah, and your dad's not feeling well. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, he went over there. Miss Connie got it from her sister, and then she brought it home, right? So my dad was in the basement for 3 days. He said only time he got up from the bed was to go to the bathroom. Other than that, he was sleeping for 3 days straight. He had a fever. He said he wasn't feeling well. He was coughing. Kid was crazy, right? So I'm like, what? So I called him this morning, and I'm like, I called him twice, right? Call the house phone, he don't pick up. I'm like, let me call.
How are you feeling as this happened? Are you kind of worried?
I'm like, I don't know. Cause I'm kind of like, I'm still in the I was in the middle.
Was
I'm
just like, with your stomach, you got like, or was it just like?
I didn't feel anything because I didn't know what was happening. I'm like, she told me that she had it at that point, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call him and check on him and see how he's doing. So I called the house phone, and he didn't pick up. I'm like, that's abnormal. I'm like, he don't pick up the house phone. I call the cell phone. I'm like, if he don't pick up the house phone, he's gonna pick up the cell phone. Mm-hmm. He didn't pick that up either. So I'm like, what that answer. So I called Miss Connie, and she don't answer. So I'm like, shit getting kind of weird, right? So then she called me back in like 5 minutes, right? So I'm like, I bet. So I call her. She talking to her on the phone about it, and she's like she said that she was giving him like onion tea with garlic root and vitamin C, and I was like, I don't really think that's the best.
Oh, damn it, right.
Yeah, which trying, which is fine, but I think vitamin C. I personally don't. I wouldn't subscribe it to somebody because I feel like it's probably synthetic, and if it's synthetic, it's probably going to have a negative effect on your body because your body's like, this is not a natural thing that I use. I don't need it, and if I'm already sick and you give me this, it's only going to make me feel worse, right? So I'm like, all right, I probably shouldn't do that. She gave him Tylenol, and I'm like, because he has a fever, so I'm like, Tylenol would stop you from feeling the pain or to reduce the fever, but the fever is there to either alarm you of something or to fight. That's a defense mechanism that would happen. You get a fever to kill the bacteria or the virus or whatever, right? So I'm like, all right, you probably shouldn't be doing that either. So I'm like, where is he at? I haven't heard from him. I'm talking to her. I'm like, what is he doing? Where is he at? She's like, oh, he's upstairs. I'm like, can you talk on the phone? She's like, he's not really trying to talk on the phone. So I guess he came downstairs. I talked to him, right? He's like, yeah, when I talk to him, he sounds better. Sounds like he's feeling good. So I'm like, all right, you sound good. We talk on the phone for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. Everything sounds good, right? So I'm like, all right, that's cool. He just explained to me, like I said, he was in bed for 3 days. He explained to me that what he was going through, the symptoms that he had.
So you went to like the doctor, hospital?
He was trying teledoc. Now, this is what I think is kind of crazy. Nephi had told me in November or late last year I should invest in teledoc, right? Now, I think that's crazy because she said that somebody knew about it and that he was saying that to him. He was telling everybody else to invest in it. So once he did that, I'm like, I feel like somebody knows more than everybody else, obviously, in the situation. Because when my dad told me, he's like, yeah, I'm on teledoc right now trying to get a doctor and I can't get in touch with anybody right now. So I'm like, that's kind of crazy. I'm like, she told me about it and now I see somebody that's actually using it. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure my dad's using it who's not the tech savvy person. Oh, he likes tech, but other people are probably using it as well.
The 17-year-old knows how to use it.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, are you good? You straight? He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, all right. So I'm coming here. I get a text from Hadassah saying that he has the coronavirus now.
Who has the coronavirus?
My dad. Like he finally got it. He come out somehow. They got a test for it.
Yeah, that's not the news you was talking about, right?
It is. Yeah.
I'm thinking to say something like.
So
what?
yeah. So he has it, right? According to my cousin, she said that my aunt told her that he has it now. So he's 60. I think he just turned 61 on March 22nd. So I'm like, but he sounds fine to me.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What are your thoughts on it?
What's his health like?
Before that, I mean, he's 61. He seems I don't think he would think he was 61. He probably looks like he's like 50.
Yeah, he doesn't look 50.
Yeah, so he's probably relatively healthy. He started going to the gym recently.
Right?
Yeah, So, but as far as food goes, I don't think that he's like the healthiest eater. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it in my. Yeah. But I wouldn't even put it in my. I would just say more so like, I don't know what he eats, but I don't think he's conscious of being even what people perceive to be as healthy. I think he's just more so like, like whatever is here, I'll try. I'm not gonna eat potato chips and McDonald's, but I'll have
ribs and macaroni.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's what he was doing. So but again, I think he sounds fine. Oh, he was also saying to me that he's gonna be fasting instead. Like he's like, yo, Miss Connie was telling me this actually, that he don't want to drink nothing that she gives him. He don't want to eat nothing that she makes. She was like, he don't want nothing from me. He don't want to give him nothing. He don't want to drink water, and he wants to fast instead. So I'm like, I actually champion that idea. Cause I'm like, I understand if you already are eating bad stuff, fasting would be better for you. So she said that she gave him some elderberry tea, which Melissa says is good. I've never had
This
it.
is the second time I've heard about that. I
Yeah.
was on
What
the
is
phone
I don't know.
with one of the twins, Torrance, and they're vegan. Well, not, they're plant based as well.
Okay.
So he was just like telling me how his girl was telling him that you need to be drinking elderberry tea. Mm-hmm. What does it do?
I don't know. Like I said, once I started learning about it, burdock root is my go-to. Like that's when I'm like, I tell everybody drink burdock root tea because I'm like, it's supposed to have like 99% of minerals in your body in the tea. So I'm like, right, I'm like, that's the one I'm gonna drink. Mm-hmm. And when I did have it before, it cleaned. As soon as I would drink it, I'm like, I gotta take a shit. Cause I'm like, it cleans me out. I'm good. So I'm like, always prescribe that to people as opposed to elderberry. I've never drank it. She's drank it, but I've never had it, so I don't know. And I've never researched it, so I don't even know about it.
Where do you buy burdock tea from?
We had got it from Amazon, but we can't find it now. Like it's almost impossible to get.
Is it something you would drink like regularly, or like if you're just feeling sick or something?
You can drink it regularly. Yeah, I was doing that for a while, but then when we ran out, I didn't buy new elderberry tea. It was new burdock root tea. So now that's how he's going for it. So I'm gonna be looking out for that. But that would be.
Man, that kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I'm like, But again, this is
And you haven't like been around them or anything?
I haven't seen them for like a month and change.
So he's back home, confirmed positive with this.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
heard it's crazy. They giving tests back like 5 days later.
So I don't now. That's the thing, because my cousin texted me that. So I'm like, are you sure? She hasn't responded to me. I'm like, because when I talked to him, he didn't know if he had it, right?
This morning.
Yeah, this morning. But then she texted me after that. So I'm like, maybe somebody called him. I don't know how he would have found out that fast. I don't know how the test works. I've heard people. I think you could get it. I have no idea how the test works.
It's very different. It's funny. I went to City MD. My family was like freaking out because I had like 99. My temp was going up a little bit, and basically I went to City MD to get it checked. They said no. And overall, along that, they told me that there's places that will give you the response back that same day. Yeah. Certain places, though, it takes like 5 days.
Okay, so I'm assuming if you have severe symptoms, they'll give it to you quicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna be on the lookout to see how that goes. But what I was gonna say earlier is, obviously, I don't want my dad to die.
Yeah, that's
right?
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
But I don't. That doesn't change my opinion on what's happening because I'm like, he's older, and I was doing something today called immunosenescence, and that's a deteriorating immune system as you get older. It just deteriorates. A certain part of it doesn't work as much, or the cells start to do different things as you get older, right? So I'm like, okay, he's 60, but if he died, he's over 60 in that realm of having it. Yeah. But after talking to him, I'm like, it still doesn't even seem. It even makes me think more that it's not as bad as people think it is. I'm like, you get sick. And that's it. You get sick, and it's like
it's up to you. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah, you gonna have don't get sick and go. Damn, I need to go to Popeye. I need some I need to make chicken.
That might kill you more than getting sick and then thinking you're gonna die is gonna kill you.
That's what
that's actual proven fact.
Yeah,
getting sick and thinking you're gonna die is gonna kill you faster than
that's what never happened.
Keeping a head up.
I'd be like, I'm not sick. Nope, I'm fine. And I'm like, even if it's what you call it? What do you call it? Placebo effect? Yeah. It's like. That still helps me to get through the day. And I'm like, maybe I have a little headache. Maybe something else will happen. But I'm like, if you start to go, oh, I'm sick. Something, because I even know if I start thinking that I'm sick, my throat will itch. Yeah, I'll be like, ooh, this always, it's like this. I'm like, shit, my back, my neck, my legs starting to hurt. Where did that come from? Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying, where it's like, I still don't think it's that bad. She had it, Miss Connie had it. She pretty much got over it. Now? Yeah, this was like I think a week ago. So she got it now. Another thing I listened to yesterday, a guy was saying that because I thought if you get it, then it goes. If you get it and you recover from it, you can't get it again. According to the South Korean doctor, he was saying it's possible that certain people are getting it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's kind of the situation
Turn
with
on
that.
your phones and just live your life, man.
So yeah. So me, I guess I've been enjoying this quarantine, and it's like the thing with me personally is it's kind of weird because I've never experienced privilege like it's a weird thing because I'll go to work. My life has not changed at all, but I talk to other people and they're like people are staying home for weeks. I'm like I see it, but I'm like that doesn't it didn't set in. I'm like people are in their house for 4 or 5. I'm outside almost every single day. I'm still working. I'm still going to make money. We live together. So it's like some people are like, yo, I haven't seen my girl or I haven't had sex and this and that. And I'm like, damn, that shit really's happening. That's why I'm like, that's why I really wanted to ask both of your perspectives.
Yeah.
I'm like, you work, but you have to work from home, and then you're not working as much as you were before.
So yeah, nothing in my life changed other than like, me having less work. Everything else is the same, I guess. Everything. I mean, yeah. Everything other than getting paid is the same. That's the shittiest part about the corner for my world.
Yeah.
It's like, but I did this thing called Hunter's Morning Essentials. So
Okay, what's that?
So I practiced a week of waking up at 5:30 in the morning and just being up. So
Okay.
so far this week I was like, I'm gonna wake up at 5:30 in the morning, read the Bible. I'm gonna read for 30 minutes. I'm gonna write for 10 minutes. I'm gonna meditate for 30 minutes. I'm gonna practice Spanish and I'm gonna do yoga. I've been like 2 days strong, but it's been like amazing. Like
So you notice the difference?
Huh? Yeah, bro. Cause like I'm able to accomplish all that stuff between 5 to 8. So between yesterday and today, I did it from 5 to 8. All those things, and because I'm doing it, my mind is clearer. My body feels a lot better because I'm fucking doing yoga.
Yeah.
And then because I'm practicing Spanish, it might be a placebo effect, but now when I'm outside, I feel like I understand a bit.
Do you
more.
guys talk in Spanish?
No.
How come?
I'm not really fluent in Spanish.
What?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I'm what's called proficient on my what's that called, my resume.
Wait, hold on, wait.
So like, okay, my Spanish is okay.
Okay.
I speak mostly like Spanglish, but I can understand fluently.
Okay.
Yeah. I just was never like, I guess.
So if I said yo quiero agua.
Yeah, you want water.
Okay, so you sound like you know Spanish to me. I feel like you might.
Basically,
That's like
yeah.
great Spanish. I feel like that's.
Yeah, and I could write in Spanish a little bit. I think it's more my comfort. Like, I don't feel comfortable speaking Spanish because I don't sound like, it doesn't like flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Strikes. I think what else? Have you seen that at all?
What strikes?
Yeah. So like Amazon workers are planning on striking. Instacart was to strike.
I've actually heard nothing about that.
Yeah, and I'm like, I always laugh when people say like, people talk about Jeff Bezos because they're mad at him, obviously,
Everyone's
because
mad
he's
at
rich.
They don't even know what Jeff.
They don't
even know nothing about Jeff. Yeah, he should give all his money away.
Right.
How dare him?
And I'm like,
That's how companies work, people. But anyway,
and they're like, I feel like they should. This one, and this is an article I read. It could be one guy yelling out and nobody else pays attention to him. But it's something that I read. I thought it was kind of funny. He was saying that he feels that they should shut the warehouse down, pay everybody when they leave, clean the warehouse, and let them go back to work. Right now, I'm like, because you can get quarantine leave at Amazon if you're sick, right? He's like, nah, I want to be able to leave right now and get paid, and you guys clean it before I come back to work. And I'm like, and he's mad at Jeff Bezos because he's like, yo, he should be paying us. He has enough money to give us all this money. And I'm like, people want Jeff Bezos to pay for everything. They're like, give $100 billion to cancer, give $100 billion to Amazon workers, and also because he got a raise at Amazon, so it's like. You said what? And Whole Foods people. So everybody got to raise Amazon, and this guy is clearly upset. So that's something I want to touch on too. What else was that I wanted to actually think about? What else on there?
The numbers for the death toll in New York is 3,200.
3,200.
That's a death toll in New York? Wow.
And how many people in New York have it?
Let me double check that.
There's still 18 million people here, by the way.
Oh wait, that's in New York. In New York.
That's kind of.
And you know what's funny?
No, I lied.
Okay.
That's in
The whole United States.
Yeah.
So the whole way.
Oh, okay.
So the whole of the United
I was
States.
about to
there's
say
3,000.
because the number was like
This is
in
all
the hundreds.
bullshit. 3,000.
Like that.
What's the population in the U.S.?
For
So
300 million.
Yeah, roughly, right?
Yes.
Roughly 300.
Probably more. I think it's
like
more.
300, yeah,
I think it's. 300 is a conservative number. It's 300 million, and 3,000 have died.
So what's that? That's like 0.000.
Actually, I have a question, right? It's okay. So you're a math teacher. You teach math, right?
I'm not that good at math, but go ahead. Try.
How would you figure out? What is it?
327 million.
So 3,000 out of 327 million. So there's still 326 million 900,000. Okay.
How would you figure out the percentage? Because I was trying to figure this out the other day, right? And for some reason, my brain was not letting me do this. So, okay, Melissa, here are the numbers for you in the calculator. You ready?
Okay.
All right. How many people are in New York? That's all of freaking. Okay, Jesus Christ. You're
Still doing numbers after you said
I'm like,
it was 3,000 people and
Yeah.
326. Like that's.
But how many died in New York? That's the number I want to find out.
Okay, how many died in New York?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. It is 1,550 deaths.
Okay, in New York State. Okay, 1,000 what?
550.
15.
Okay, and there are how many people are in the whole state, not just the city? What's the
Yeah, that's the state.
what's the population of New York State?
Oh, what's the population of New York State?
Yeah, because I feel like the population of New York City is 18 million. That's not the whole state. That's just the city. So I want to get the whole entire city.
19 million.
So extra mil?
For New York State?
Yeah, for the state.
Okay. That's
That makes sense.
kind of crazy though.
Nah, bro, you went to Pasta and you've been upstate. Ain't nothing.
But I'm like, but you're saying in the 5 boroughs,
And
18?
That's in 2015. So.
Oh.
So I guess probably about.
I'm going to go with 20 million.
Yeah, bro.
Let's say go to 20. Yeah, but we're going to be nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go down. I'm going to say 18.
Yeah.
Oh, it is 20 million.
20 million in the whole.
2020.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
20 million in the whole state. So now, what percentage?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Hunter, why don't you do it? You do it.
Because I was trying to figure this out, and my brain was not alive. I didn't know how to do math for like an hour and a half, and I kept putting numbers, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This don't make sense. I'm like, this don't make any sense. And
Yeah, I've tried to do that too, even like percentage wise.
Yeah, and I'm like,
with like how many people are dying.
It be fucking me
It's
up.
always a different number, I guess.
Yeah, and so I'm like,
I don't even try.
I get 6. Okay, do it again. 48. I'm like, what the fuck? How did I get this number? That should be fucking me up. So I'm like, all right, how would you figure this? 15. Yeah, 1550.
Divided by. How much? 20?
Yeah, 20 million. Okay, so now this is.
Is that 0.004?
No.
0.0000775.
Oh, there's 3 zeros.
4 zeros. 4 zeros.
Oh, 4 zeros.
Right. So now this is what fucked me up.
You know they put this on the news though. Like if someone said this is the amount of people that
But
died.
that isn't the percentage though. That's what fucked me up.
You have to multiply by 100.
Yeah, and that's what I kept fucking up at.
So multiply this by 100.
Yeah.
So it's 2 zeros.
Yeah.
So it's 0.007%.
So less than 100%.
You can round it up. So 0.008%. If you round up.
Yeah. So that's not even.
That's 0.01%.
That's not even 1%.
That's less than 0.01%.
Yeah.
100%. And this will blow my mind how the world just stopped.
Your mind is being blown. My mind is being blown. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
This whole thing is bullshit, yo.
So like I said, I'm trying to figure out why.
So you don't think that the self-quarantining is helping to keep it that low? Because I do think that being
The
like
death
this,
number?
yeah. Yeah, I think that it is helping. So it can't fully be bullshit if it's working. I think that because I don't think we tackled it early, but because we're self-quarantining and a lot of other jobs are being shut down, it is helping to keep it low. I think that Italy did a horrible job. They didn't think about it and they were just still going about, and I think that's why their death toll was so high.
No, Italy actually has more flu deaths than most countries in the world.
See, I didn't know that. I'm not surprised, but I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like Italy is always bad when it comes to flus. It's just that we didn't report it last year because we didn't care about the flu. But every time Italy gets a case of flu, their numbers are higher than most countries.
I didn't know that.
I think it has to do with the healthcare systems, because that's the whole point of quarantining in the first place, to make sure that the healthcare system can support the amount of people that's coming in.
Yeah, that's
I can
right.
see that too.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Good point.
That's probably the biggest problem. Not the coronavirus, because I don't think that's doing anything. I think it's the fact that the influx of people who are sick. Because the thing is, even if you're sick, right? You might go to the infirmary or whatever and be taking up a bed that somebody who's really, really sick actually needs. But because there's so many at one time, that's what's fucking it up. Yeah. But it's like you may get over it and go home. But somebody that needed that bed because you were there being sick, they died.
Right.
And I think that's the actual problem from it. And you asked about the quarantining. And you said Italy too. So one thing I remember or know about Italy that they smoke a lot. I don't know if I told you guys. I've been to Italy. But they smoke a lot. And like I would say probably more than here. Like it's very prevalent. I'm pretty sure the rules are different on smoking over there. You can smoke everywhere, as far as I see.
Cigarettes?
Right? Yeah, it's weird because they smell different. They don't smell as bad, but they smoke a lot of cigarettes over there, right? And everything is in small proximity. If you're walking through the city, all the streets are like this. People talk about how they like to kiss and hug. They're very close. When I was there with Melissa, everybody was holding hands. I felt weird not holding hands. So I'm like, all right, everybody here is probably really affectionate people. So they're going to be touching, kissing, smoking, eating, in small confined spaces. So it's more likely that their numbers are going to be a lot higher, on top of the fact that their healthcare system wasn't set up for something like this to begin with. And I believe, other than Japan, they might have the oldest population in the world. So it's like, if everybody there is old, then they're going to have higher deaths. Because if you was to do something else and go, okay, bet, you might say Italy has a high death population. If you look at another country who has like 3 people, people don't do that comparison, because it's like, why do they only have 3 and they have the high end of 10,000 or something like that? There's something different between these two countries. So I'm like, as far as quarantining helping, I think it's doing more harm than good, because I feel like people would be dying regardless of if we were quarantining or not, just from different things. But the quarantining part of it has stopped everybody from working. So now people are not making money. So people are still dying. They didn't stop people from dying. People who are dying from other things other than the coronavirus are still dying, right? And people are not working, not making money. So now rent's not getting paid. People getting stressed. Food situation might be different. Yeah, the economy's fucked up. Now our economy affected somebody else's economy. So that is like worse, in my opinion, than people dying. Because it's like, okay. And like I said before on the last podcast, if people were dying who were younger, I would be like, or babies. I would be like, okay, that's weird. And I think I said earlier too, what the coronavirus is, I don't know if the baby, I saw one baby died. They had it. They didn't, I don't know if they died from it. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, so we just gotta, we're not at the worst, and I think the months coming afterwards, we're going to really see the effects when like people have been out of work for 3 months and they have to catch up, because like bills ain't stopping.
Facts. I think it's gonna last. So okay, when do you think it's gonna end?
Hopefully,
and what do you consider ending?
I'm gonna look at it from like school year perspective. I'm going to say by the end of the school year, max by June. Okay. Hopefully, if it doesn't by June, then we have a problem. Okay. But ideally, I'm hoping by the end of April. Okay. And what does ending mean to you? Like, what do you think ending is? Honestly, I don't even know, because I think that even when they say it's ended, it's still going to be out there. Yeah. And I think that to make an exact vaccine will take months, maybe a year. So I think that it'll be calm by April, June. Okay. I think it'll be fully gone by the end of the year, maybe. Okay. And what do you think? When do you think it's gonna be done, and what do you think done looks like? Sorry, I had like so many layers to answer. Oh no, that's fine. I'm curious.
It's gonna be done, hopefully, as soon as possible. What do I think the answer's gonna be?
Like no. What do you think the end is? Like, what do you think? Like, when you say done, what does done look like to you?
When all of the news places say, "Hey, the quarantine has been lifted," I think that's when people are gonna kind of have the sense to actually be like, "Oh, okay, we can go outside now." And
what date do you think that will be? Or we'll give you like a idea.
I'm gonna keep going for April. Honestly, if you want to know my honest answer, 2 weeks. That's my honest answer. I'm gonna just keep saying 2 weeks. I am gonna keep saying 2 weeks, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm keep saying 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. So last week was 2 weeks. Now extra 2 weeks.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So Lord, I'm gonna pray on that shit. Golly, this is bad. But yeah.
So I'm seeing my answer. I think.
She's biased though.
I mean, of course, that's what I'm saying. It's definitely, and that's why I kind of want to have this conversation, because I'm like, the coronavirus helps me, but it hurts you, and does it feel like it's hurting you, or it's just kind of like
it's more so hurting the kids.
Yeah, it's like it's annoying for you.
It's annoying for me. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's hurting you, and I'm like I'm like flourishing so this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think from what I've researched that it will be. Originally, I said June, right?
You think it's gonna be that far?
And this is why I said June. This is why this is gonna end up happening. I think April it's a wrap. Like April is gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be because I feel like we're still getting more numbers. Everybody's still panicking. So I feel like all April's gonna be people panicking.
Still getting more numbers.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. More panic. So I feel like April, just chalk that out the window. It's gonna be that's a wrap. I feel like May is when people either two things will happen. People will be like, all right, fam, I haven't got paid in like 3 months. What are y'all doing? Figure some shit out. People start getting restless, like, yo, what are y'all? Figure some shit out, right? And they're gonna be like, all right, I'm going outside to do something. Yeah. I'm gonna open up my business. Yeah, I can't.
No matter what you say.
I'm going outside because y'all not paying my bills. Yeah, if y'all not gonna pay my bills and I can't go outside, and you're not giving me no money, what's going on? Yeah. So I feel like by April, people got to get restless in May, and they'll be like, all right, what's going on? If they don't do anything. No, if they do something, I feel like by June is when they will start to remove restrictions, and then it'll slowly pan out like that. So okay, it'll be like, all right, June 1st, you guys can go out to the parks, not park. You guys can go out to work, but you got to be home by 7:00. Some bullshit like that, right? Then at the next month or next 3 weeks, they'll be like, all right, we can open the gyms back up. But the gyms can only be, we're doing social distancing still.
Yeah, restricted hours.
Yeah, right. Only go to the gym from 10 a.m. to 5 o'clock, right? And then by that's August.
This all sounds like hell, by the way.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's what things gonna be. Because I'm like, I don't see, if they came out tomorrow and said, all right, April Fool's, we got you guys. Right, some bullshit.
I would be so mad.
Somebody would get killed. Somebody would get murdered. A lot of people would be murdered if that happened. I think they're more likely to say something like,
get murdered if niggas don't give niggas jobs back. Bro, this shit is actually kind of crazy. When like, niggas, I can't wait till fucking the end of April. Fuck.
Nah, imagine they say April.
Imagine what's
so, like that.
Be walking out interviews. I'm about to walk out. I don't want to be on the camera no more.
Nah.
So like I said, I think it'll be back to a living situation by like more so normal June, August. That's when I think it'll be like, all right, we're in August. We kind of we shook it off and we're still kind of recovering, but we're like, everybody's back to work. Everything is cool now. It's just kind of like, you remember that Corona thing? Like, you remember that shit happened like a couple months ago? Yeah. Something that happened. So that's episode 2 of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed us talking about the podcast. So, before we end, I want you to, you have anything, I know you're doing Writers with Attitude.
Yes, I do.
Can you give us a little taste of what that is? And
Okay. So, Writers with Attitude is my creative writing workshop. Right now, we're at Bowery Poetry Club. You know, we're not there now because of Corona, but yeah, we're still up and going. We have our literary magazine releasing in June. And yeah, if you want to submit, you can submit poetry, short fiction, different art, graphic art, anything creative-wise you can submit. See us at writerswithattitude.com for more information.
Question. Have you ever thought about doing this online now since the whole Corona thing?
I thought about it. I thought about doing like live sessions, but I think that just seeing the response from writers emailing me, they like the quarantine time because it's giving them time to thoroughly like write more. Okay. And I guess to get their inspiration out. One thing I started doing was sending weekly writing prompts for them. Okay. So that way they can stay inspired. I might do like a live stream where we can share it, but...
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So, Instagram for yourself and your Writers with Attitude.
Instagram, Writers with Attitude. My personal Instagram is sincerelycrystal _ KRYSTAL.
Okay, so you drop anything you want to plug in? Man. Anything you want to get out there? You want to get some...
I'm trying to get that work. If you need photography, you need research. I did not buy all these fucking books and read to fucking be in the crib broke. This is bothering me. But yeah.
So drop your Instagram,
Twitter, man.
Social medias.
Shit, man. Catch me on the next episode. I can't think right now. I'm gonna be completely honest.
All right, so you can follow me at Donivan Gray. That's DONIVANGRAY. That's my Instagram. Twitter, same thing. And the Bamboo Project _ podcast. If you want to Tune in for more behind the scenes of us, figuring out this podcast thing. So the last thing I want to leave us out with is, listen, you see us doing this podcast, right? Do something. Don't let this time go to waste. If you have something you want to start, research it, figure it out, and start. You're not gonna get to where you want to be if you don't start now.
Yeah.
So, Bamboo Project out.